Some disappearances begin with chaos. Some begin with violence. But in Maplewood, it began with silence. On the night of November 12th, the Maplewood Public Library closed like it always did, lights dimming, books settling, and Eleanor Price locking the brass door for the last time. The camera outside captured her stepping into the cool night air at 9:33 p.m. That footage became famous. It was the last verified moment anyone saw her alive. And before Maplewood understood what was happening, the quiet librarian they all thought they knew had vanished without a trace. Eleanor Price lived at the corner house near the library, tucked behind trimmed hedges and blue shutters. A woman of routine, habit, and precision. She had worked at the library for 20 years, serving every generation that passed through Maplewood. They said she was polite, helpful, soft-spoken, invisible in a way. But in Maplewood, invisible people were often the ones who saw the most. She had no enemies, no scandals, no chaos in her life, or so everyone thought. The next morning, Eleanor's car still sat in the library parking lot. Keys inside, purse untouched, engine cold. No signs of struggle. Her neighbor, Mrs. Hampton, noticed something else. She said, "Her porch light never turned off. That's not Eleanor, not ever." By noon, police declared her missing under suspicious circumstances. Detective Laura Hayes, known for being relentless, took the lead. Within hours, she found the first crack in the story. When she slowed down the CCTV footage of Eleanor leaving the library, she caught it. A glitch, then another. Frames missing, surgically removed. Not an accident, not a malfunction, a deliberate edit. Hayes said, "Somebody tampered with this. Somebody didn't want us to see who was behind her." And just like that, Maplewood's quiet facade began to crumble. For days, Maplewood searched. The wooded trails behind the town, the riverbank, old barns, back roads, culverts, parks, any place a person could disappear. Nothing. It was as if the town itself had swallowed her whole. Interviews with coworkers revealed nothing but admiration, no grudges, no complaints, no suspicious behavior. But deeper interviews uncovered something else. Eleanor had been staying late, much later than she told people. And no one knew why, not yet. 5 days after the disappearance, Detective Hayes found it, by accident. Behind a heavy shelf of encyclopedias in Eleanor's office was a narrow crack in the wall, a hidden seam. When the shelf was moved, an old staircase descended into a secret basement, pitch black, windowless, and freezing cold. Flashlights cut through the dust. And then the truth came alive. Stacks of journals, hundreds, lined the walls, books Eleanor had written for years, not about literature, but about Maplewood. Names, dates, transactions, rumors, discrepancies, secret meetings, strange fires, unexplained disappearances. Eleanor had been documenting the town like a quiet detective. Hayes flipped open the last journal, a leather-bound one. Inside, the final entry read, "They think I'm just the librarian, but I see everything. And if anything happens to me, someone will know the truth." This was no random disappearance. Eleanor had been watching Maplewood, and someone knew. As Hayes dug deeper into the journals, one name appeared repeatedly. Harold Finch, long-standing councilman, respected, untouchable. On paper, Finch was Maplewood's golden citizen, donating to schools, organizing town events, funding community programs. But Eleanor's journals told another story. Fake renovation budgets, money disappearing into false projects, meetings held at odd hours, buildings accidentally burning down, threats disguised as friendly gestures, a network of people silenced by intimidation. She had recorded it all. Every note, every inconsistency, every shadow. And Hayes realized something chilling. Eleanor didn't just stumble into danger. She walked straight towards it. An anonymous tip arrived in Hayes's inbox. Check the old textile mill. She wrote about it for a reason. The mill was abandoned, rotting, and sinking into the ground. But Eleanor had mentioned it repeatedly in her journals, always in connection with Finch. Inside the mill, investigators found footprints in the dust, scattered pages from Eleanor's notes, a broken pair of glasses that matched hers, a small blood smudge on a rusted beam, drag marks leading toward the back exit, but no body. Hayes whispered in the dark of the mill. She was here, and she did not go willingly. Digital forensics found something Eleanor must have suspected: a car trailing her for weeks before she vanished, an unregistered vehicle captured only in reflections on shop windows and on the chrome of parked cars. That vehicle was later seen near Eleanor's home, near the library, near the mill, and at the same times Finch visited those locations. The pattern was undeniable. Finch claimed innocence, claimed conspiracy, claimed political attacks. But he couldn't explain the car, or the tampered footage, or the fact Eleanor had documented every one of his moves. And now, she was gone. Once Eleanor's journals leaked into the investigation, Maplewood was forced to look at itself. Old fires were reopened as arson cases. Financial accounts were audited. Council members quietly resigned. Rumors turned into testimonies. Neighbors remembered strange nights and unspoken threats. Maplewood was no longer a peaceful town. It was a crime scene stretched across decades of silence. And at the center of it all, a woman who everyone thought was invisible. Months passed. Leads ran dry. Finch grew quieter. Support dwindled. But without a body, the case stalled. Eleanor Price remained missing, but she wasn't forgotten. Hayes stood in the hidden basement one last time, journals spread across the table. She whispered, "You knew they'd come for you, so you left us everything we needed." Eleanor didn't vanish into nothing. She became Maplewood's whistleblower, even in her absence. And the biggest irony? The quiet librarian who spoke so softly was the one who finally forced Maplewood to listen.